Hi, Jeevan. How are you?
Hi, Sergey. Good evening. I'm doing fine. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good too. Yeah, I forgot where you're based actually. Which city are you from?
So I've been in Melbourne for the past 2.5 years, and I'm
Oh,
originally from Bangalore, India.
cool. Yeah, I'm also
Yeah,
from
it's like
Melbourne.
the tech city. Okay, good
Okay.
day.
Yes. Nice weather today.
Yes,
Cold but still sunny.
yeah, it's
Cool.
better
So
today.
as I was saying, these interviews we don't script. Yeah, because one of the reasons we want people to relax, and um, kind of present themselves as they would be in, let's say, working environment. Yeah. So not I think it's a bit misleading when people come for an interview and they're like very constrained, and hesitate. Then you don't see the real person. Yeah, they're kind of a little bit weird. you know you're also, when you're interviewing, I mean, in the company, you also feel a bit weird, you know like talking to a stranger. You're not
Oh,
in
okay.
a position. You're like in a position when you're interviewing in a company that the person depends on you. They come to beg you for, to be hired. So they kind of, you know trying to be nicer to you than they normally are, maybe. Yeah, if you were just like a strangers in a tram, you would be neutral. If I step on your
Okay.
foot, maybe I will say, oh, I'm sorry. I would be extra, like, polite with you or something, right? Because I feel like I have to make it up to you. I stepped on your foot. Um, but in a job interview, like, the role's
I
already
agree.
preset. Yeah, I'm in a position to hire you, and you're in a position to beg me for a job. You really want it, and you're keen, and you're extra smiling and afraid to say a wrong word and stuff like that. So what we are trying to do here is, and I hope it works, because we are independent party. Yeah, so we, nothing much depends on this interview for you when you
Yeah,
when you send it to recruiter, even, whatever. Yeah. So then you can just be yourself, right? And even if you like, nothing even depends to the point that if you feel like you screwed up this interview, or you don't want it to be, you can redo it, or you can just scrap it. And so really, like, literally nothing depends on this interview. So you can just speak up your mind, you know. So yeah, up to
yeah,
you.
that's
So
great.
let's talk.
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm
and I
certainly
think
off
that's
something now.
sorry.
Yeah,
I talk too much. I talk too much.
thanks for taking the time to explain it. Like, it actually
No
helps
worries.
because
Yeah,
I mean,
I like
even
it.
if yeah, like even if a candidate is not interviewing for a job, even though
Mhm.
he or she is being interviewed, I think there's a little bit of nervousness, and you don't want to tell anything wrong, or you just want to sound so perfect that you don't speak enough, or you're not free. You don't speak with a completely open mind, I feel.
Exactly
So
right. Yeah, yeah. And I think, and uh, I think that's, well. First of all, I said it's artificial. Yeah, but also I think now there is also AI component coming into the picture, because now they start, like, there are startups now that basically ask AI to interview you. We should make it even more weird. So I feel like, no, like, this is the right way. Like, we have to make it as human, as authentic, as relaxed, laid back as possible. And maybe we are being Australians. Maybe we have the right angle at it, because we really, like, we don't care that much. Like, maybe in America people more care about money and business success, stuff like that. We are more laid back, relaxed. We're kind of more about the community and relationships and other people and stuff like that. So the fact that we are doing it here in Australia, in Melbourne, the fact that we are kind of contrary to the AI trend and
mhm.
making it human, I think it will be appreciated. I hope.
Yeah, yes, yes. That's a very interesting point that you brought in, this AI assisted interviews. So I think like from a company perspective, right? You're trying to hire a candidate for the next 2 3 years at least. Like the company would see hire a candidate for like that. That would be like the average time I feel
Yeah, yeah.
on the lower end. So you would not want to like rely on AI to
Yeah,
like get
exactly.
the
Because you will be working with a person, not AI. Well,
yeah you'd be
I
working
guess
for
yeah, but they will not be. I think they don't rely on the um, on AI for the decision making. Yes, so they will be watching.
yeah yeah
Humans will be watching that interview. But the fact that you are
yeah
watching like half artificial interview, like how can you as a person relax and be yourself when just like machine asks you questions and you feel like weird and then you
yeah
feel like you're wasting time and stuff like that. Yeah, so it's like you feel like I would feel a little bit offended even. It's like I would be a little bit
yes
irritated. I think like I'm spending my time live, and the company doesn't want to spend their time. Instead, they send a machine. So it's almost like you're on a phone call with those bots when you call a support line. You know, I'm a human customer. I have a problem with your software or like your service that I'm paying for, and I'm wasting my human time and it is just like a bot that doesn't understand what I'm saying. Please describe what you want in a few words. And then maybe I have accent, maybe my case cannot be described like specifically in those terms that it's asking. I don't know. So I get offended very quickly. So I think it will be exactly
yeah
like very similar. Like you would feel like not offended maybe, but you feel like you're not respected in a way, or your time's not respected, something like this. But also, what we are
yeah
doing is obviously we're respecting everyone's time. Yeah, because you will record this interview and then it could be reused. It's all about reusability. You don't need to sit 10 interviews anymore. You just record once. It shows you who you are. The questions are relatively the same about who you are, your career aspirations, stuff like that, and then saves you time, saves companies time, right? So then, and then if you record this video, company watches that video, they are happy with it, and then they maybe the next stage is just okay, let's talk face to face to confirm that we're happy to hire you, something like that.
yeah. And also you seem like a good interviewer, by the way.
Because I'm a beginner. Okay,
Okay.
enough,
So
enough
I
small
just
talk.
wanted to know, yeah, before going into the other question, I just had one question. So how many
Yeah,
people have you interviewed in
I
your,
think 15 right now. 15.
okay, for this talent hub?
Yeah. And it was just
Okay.
yeah. I've never done this before. Well, no, sorry. I interviewed because I hired a lot of people. I interviewed
Yeah.
hundreds of
Oh,
people. Yeah.
okay. Okay.
Uh, yeah. No, I did a lot of interviews. Yeah, but
Okay. That's great. That's good to know.
I mean recording in this format, just 15. Yeah, but it's always free flow. Even like when I hired for a company, I always do free flow conversation. I never have like preset
Phone.
questions or like
Okay.
something something based on the resume or anything like this, because I think it's always interesting how the conversation goes and where it leads, because like people, even without thinking, they reveal a lot about themselves, a lot more than they think. The choice of words, and like how you, I don't know, dodge the answers, how you kind of try to kind of avoid, I don't know, talking about something, and you can pin person down. Like if you just stick to the questions, you will never kind of go and explore. And that's what I think. Yeah, let's, like exploratory testing in software development. There's like
Yes. Yes.
exploratory interviewing.
Okay. Yeah. Data exploration and
Yeah. So let's
exploratory data.
let's dissect you a little bit. Let's explore you a bit. Um, where are you at right now?
So I've graduated. I finished my postgrad in Monash University, Clayton, Australia, in July,
Yeah.
and I'm just looking for work right now. And my master's was in data science.
Oh, cool.
Yes. So Yeah, that's
Did you
what
do
I'm.
much hard? I think I interviewed one data scientist already who also recently graduated, and then I just realized that they never trained any model in the context of data science. And then I asked, what did you do? And there was like a software development component, like programming, and something else, like data analysis. Like, how can you call yourself data science and never train a data science model? So tell me, did you train any models?
Yeah, quite a few. I have.
Oh, that's good. Which
Deployed.
unit then? Which unit does it well?
Which unit? I think statistical data analysis. We had a final assignment worth 40% of the entire unit's marks, and that had
Okay.
a yeah big model making assignment. So we had like the regression model. It was a multi-class regression, and then we had a classification model, and we had to build both from scratch, and we had to upload our RMSE scores along with the predicted data sets on Kaggle, and we had a Kaggle leaderboard uh, through which you could get to know different ranks um, of students. So yes, that's how it went.
Oh, so it
So
was
based on
ranking.
the ranking, so I got a ranking of around 100 out of 220 or something.
So what's the ranking about?
So it's just the least RMSE score. So you're more closer to the
I don't
fitting.
understand. I don't know those abbreviations. Tell me a bit more about it.
RMS E score is just the root mean square error score. So you just calculate the error between the actual value and the predicted value, and you sum up the square, and then you divide it by n. So that's how
Oh,
you
so it's just a
get.
formula to understand the accuracy
Yeah,
of it.
it's yeah, exactly. It's just a measure of accuracy of the model.
Okay, so and you got 100 out
Yes,
out of 400. Did you say?
out of 220,
Oh, sorry,
around
out of
220.
220. So you were kind of in the middle.
Yeah, I was somewhere in the
What does
middle.
it mean?
So sorry.
Does it mean it's a well trained model?
So it was pretty close. There was a fraction of like, zero point 0.01 between like 10 scores, I would say. So I think for the model which I did was good enough, but I think there are some tricks to get increase your score using AI as well, and having a better system so that you can run your models. You can run the models quicker and get your hyperparameter tuning to the best parameters and stuff. So the Kaggle leaderboard is like continuously updated every day. So each day we could like post around 20 entries, and it would take in your best score by default. So the thing is, I started off the assignment quite early. Like we had about a month or 3 weeks to complete the assignment. So I started off in week one, and I was like updating the scores every day. So you can do 20 updates per day.
What's the
But
what's the score? Sorry, you have
so
to be.
so I was on
I know
rank
nothing
three.
about data science.
Sorry.
I know nothing about data science. You'll have to explain to me. You'll have to chew it down for me.
Okay. So if I had to explain data science to someone who doesn't know data science at all, it's all about using and collecting the data around you and
Yeah.
trying to find some information out of that, trying to find some patterns, some useful information out of that, and trying to make a decision or predict something, or just come to a conclusion based on the data.
Yeah.
So I would say that's the
So
most
what was your model about
fundamental.
specifically? Like what data you
My model was about calculating the happiness score. You mean you're talking about our assignment, right? Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, so we had around 40 to around 45 different indicators,
Hmm.
like a person is social enough or is feeling lively most of the time, is like lazy most of the day, or and we had like
Is it
40 45 different
self-assessed
indicators. Yeah, it is
question?
self-assessed,
So it's like a
self-assessed.
survey.
You
You
can
have
take
like
it
people
yourself.
filling
Yeah,
the survey.
yeah, you can take it yourself as well. There's a link, there's a website which takes in your data, and it
Mhm.
gives you a approximate approximation of your happiness score. Mm.
Okay, so the questions are like, what are you doing during the day?
Yeah, what are you doing during the day? How's your lifestyle? There's some questions about like alcohol consumption,
How often you
smoking.
drink? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, how often do you drink? And social activities. How often you engage with your parents, your partner, your do you have pets? And basically your lifestyle and your habits, and even about food consumption, like are you like consuming food 3 times a day or like 4 times a day, and about your income, your height, your weight, whether you're
Um,
single or not,
Gender,
uh, gender, of course,
so everything,
um,
like as much as
how about,
possible.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but then no, but then like you need. How do you train that model? Like to train the model, you need to first find out who is happy and who is not genuinely.
Oh yeah, that's very interesting, right? So how do you like get the data of the scores
Yeah.
uh, while the
So is it
initial
like
data?
last question in a survey? So are you happy? Like, yes. No.
Yeah, it's not as simple as that, because people can lie as well, and
Mhm.
yeah, and just by yes or no, you won't get a score of
Exactly.
happiness
Yeah.
score. It was giving a score between 0 to 100 for a person.
Yeah.
Um, So yes, so I don't know how they calculated the pre-training data set, but the interesting
Ah,
thing was some of the indicators for happiness was, can I tell you, according to the data set at least,
yeah.
was being male, was having a high income level, but not too high. It was somewhere between 90 to 100K. Um, and it's about being tall, I think above
No,
180
wait,
and
wait,
above 85
wait.
centimeters.
Sorry. So that's what, like the correlation that was revealed after that, like you found out
Yeah,
that it's
yeah,
correlated
yeah,
with
yeah. So these are the most significant parameters
like height,
that we get to know. Yeah,
income,
income,
and
height.
did you say
Uh,
being mean?
being mean? No, no, it is not being mean. It was about being active and how often you engage in sports activities,
Ah, sports.
uh,
Yeah. Okay.
and also income and height. Yeah. So
Okay.
these
So
were
those
some of
three
the.
things really, and that's
Yeah,
what
yeah.
gives you happiness. Okay.
Yeah,
No,
social
but
activities, height, income.
yeah,
I think,
but really, you
yeah,
don't know. But you don't know how the training data set. So it was just maybe arbitrarily just put there. Like this is a happy person. This is not happy person. Right.
yeah. It was not yes or no. It was more of it was a score generated for each person. It was like, suppose
No, no,
Sergey
no.
is
This
like,
I understand.
you
No,
have
yeah,
it.
I understand. I'm talking about training, the training set. Yeah. So training
Mhm.
set also inputs into the model like all your answers, and then scale from 0 to 100 how happy you are. Yeah.
Yeah, the training set had the happiness score already calculated, and we had to evaluate on a test set, which was about 100 records, and the training set was like 500 records, and we had to evaluate the happiness of the test set, which is like 100 individuals, and there's no happiness score for them. But we have all these other parameters.
Yeah.
Uh, 45 parameters, so we had to like predict the happiness score for these for the test
Yeah.
set.
That's not enough, I think. Yeah. Do you think it sounds like a very small data set?
Yeah, it is a rather small data set. It's not big data,
Maybe
but
because nobody cares.
it is quite challenging, because there is 45 parameters, and there's categorical parameters, ordinal parameters, uh, and so you have to like use the right algorithms.
Mm.
And everyone just ended up using XGBoost, as far as I know, most of them, because we did give a try with like
What,
regression and tree-based
what's that
algorithms.
about? I'm not familiar. Is it something that kind of synthetically makes data for you or something?
You mean XGBoost?
Yeah,
No, no. XGBoost is a boosting algorithm.
yeah,
So basically, it is a tree-based algorithm in the broader sense, but
yeah,
it's not your traditional decision trees. It's not as simple as your traditional decision trees or your random forests.
yeah,
It's quite complicated, and it's one of the most used algorithms in Kaggle competitions for the past few years. So
yeah. No, I think I heard
yeah,
about that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, the person who found this out is Tianqi Chen
Hmm.
from somewhere in the US, California, I think. Yeah, he's considered to be a genius among the AI people.
Okay, so but basically that kind of helps you just to train the model very quickly. So just you basically now I think it's just press a button and you get the trained model, right? How much data science now? How much you have to do as a data scientist these
Yeah,
days?
so ideally, the ideal way to do it from a good data scientist is you go you try the easier algorithms in the starting, and you comparatively move to the more complex ones, and you judge your outcome. Like outcome can be like accuracy or RMS score or uh, anything else. You judge your outcome, and then you kind of decide which kind of algorithm to use based on
Yeah,
that, because ultimately you would need a generalized model. You would not need a overfit model, and some of these algorithms have a tendency to overfit. The more you train it, the more you try to optimize it, hyperparameter tuning, and keep running the model with different hyperparameters for like ages together, and you get a hyperparameter for that particular training set which fits the best, but it can be more of a overfit if you tune it too much. And there's also
yeah,
this concept of feature engineering, which is one of the most important concepts in machine learning model training, which is finding the most significant features or columns which you need for the right prediction, and
yeah.
also yeah, get rid of
Because some
multi.
data may be completely irrelevant. Yeah, so nothing depends on it. So you have to find
Yes,
the one that is the most
yes, exactly.
sensitive.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay, so
confounder.
it sounds like
Yeah,
data science now is more like in the details, and it sounds like it's a journey. Yes, so you start probably with the smaller data sets because it's too expensive to just go with the bigger data sets, and then you have to kind of investigate and find out what's the right path to go, which features or which parameters to use, and then there will probably be like hurdles along the way. Some data will not be, I don't know, representative enough or stuff like that. So
missing. Yeah,
yeah, okay, but this is all about decision trees, right? Randomized forest. What is it?
yeah. It's a combination of tree algorithms, but it's a boosting algorithm
Okay,
in the
okay,
sense.
but
Yeah.
it has nothing. But this is totally different from neural networks.
It is totally different, but it
Yeah,
is end of the day another way to predict an outcome. Neural networks is another way
yeah.
to
So
get
did you train
the.
any neural networks?
I did try neural networks as well.
Okay,
I did try a
for
basic
which
neural net
case?
for this one, but I didn't get a good a score.
Ah, for this particular one, you
Yeah,
did
for
both.
this.
Yeah, and you
Yeah,
got
I
to
did
compare
try.
them. Yeah. So
Yeah,
So
I didn't
why
go
neural
to.
networks didn't work? I thought they would work for anything. They neural.
Uh, yeah, that's an interesting question. So neural networks does work for anything, but you would need
Hmm.
a more deep learning or a deep neural network for it to get, depending on your application.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, you can't always go with the standard 1 by 3 neural network.
So how
First
many layers
output.
did you go?
Oh, I just went with like 3 layers: input, the mid hidden layer, and the output. So maybe if I had gone with a more
Why you couldn't
complex neural
go?
network.
Why you couldn't go deeper?
So yeah, that's a interesting question. So why I didn't go deeper is because neural networks are not really used that much for regression in the
Yeah.
first place. So I just wanted to give it a try.
Hmm.
And since I was getting better results from XGBoost, uh, I didn't go too further into neural networks.
Yeah. Okay. So the goal wasn't like to see to do both and then compare. Yeah. It was just okay. What works best, and then use it.
Yeah, because you have so many algorithms, right, to try and get your prediction.
Hmm.
But the thing is, even once you set that you're going to use this algorithm,
Yep.
you can do a lot of hyperparameter tuning within that algorithm to get a better score. So
Yep.
that's why I was relying on XGBoost rather than trying a deep neural network or any of the other algorithms. I did try a lot of regression, multi-class regression, created new variables for regression like squared terms and
What's
logarithmic.
regression? Sorry, you keep saying regression. I still don't understand. I only know regression in software development. Regression testing.
Do you know linear regression algorithm?
Nope.
So a linear regression is just fitting a straight line to a set of data points.
Ah. So
Just
if
give
you
me a
have like,
second.
is it like skater diagram where you have points and
Yes.
then the line that goes
Yeah, the line that
across?
goes through middle of all the points, which kind of seems
Yep.
like touching all the points, but it this
And it
is not
shows
touching
you
some of the points. Yeah.
correlation, right?
Yeah, it shows the correlation between the x
Just
and
in
y
a
axis,
linear format. Yeah. Okay.
just in the
So
linear
is
format.
that called linear regression?
Yeah, that is linear regression.
Okay. Cool. And that's so when you say when you run regression, what does it mean?
So when I say that I run regression, it's taking all these terms and just running a linear regress, like 45 terms, convert it into numeric and yeah, try to do normalization
Mhm.
and uh, try to just fit it to a linear regression model, the LM model, which is one of the most famous and most simplest machine learning models
Mhm.
for predicting anything of a numeric value. Um, yeah, and yeah, so you can even go like, you can even create square of the features. Like suppose I have like height, I can calculate height squared and input that to my linear regression as well. Maybe there's a 0.1% improvement in accuracy due to that, or sometimes it might
What's
reduce
height squared?
as
What do
well.
you mean? You mean high, like person's height?
Yeah, yeah, like a person's height. Yeah, like I
And
was telling you.
how would person's height square would help?
Also, yeah, that's the thing with multi-class regression. You keep putting you try it out with different terms. So it's all about like fitting the curve, right? You have a set of points.
Yeah.
You need to get a curve which kind of matches those points, and then if it's matching most of the points, like with lesser error, I would say, then it can predict the
Ah,
points which are
wait, I'm
missing as
starting
well.
to understand.
You know?
So because linear is just one line, but the
Yeah,
square gives you this parabolic line. Yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah, and it's
you try to,
multi-class. Yeah.
what does it mean?
So multi-classes, you're using more than one parameter, so it doesn't just rely on x. So the y value doesn't just rely on x, but
Oh.
x plus few other parameters. So
So it's like in multiple dimensions, basically.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. It's in multiple dimensions. Yeah. So the
yeah,
curve
so
is in
it's like,
multiple dimensions, and you got to, yeah, we can just imagine up to three dimensions, right? We can't imagine the fourth
it's just
dimension.
like a curved plane or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
but
like
it
a
works
curved
from
plane,
any
exactly. But
multi-dimension.
it's
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
multi-dimensional. So
Okay, so you can do the linear, yeah, that's just like a straight line or straight plane. You
yeah,
can go like parabolic, like x square, yeah, and it will
yes,
just be like a shaped a little bit, bent a little bit. But then, is
yeah,
there anything else, like sinusoidal or whatever? I don't know.
yeah, sinusoidal, and those are the different curves. But if you introduce in more parameters like z, like y depends on the value of z, and you
Yeah.
introduce more vector spaces, so it becomes a multi-dimensional curve, which you can't really imagine, but it's somewhere out there. Uh,
So when you say, so you said, okay, I'm making a decision to do the x square, yeah. So what you are like, do you just randomly try those things, different parameters and different shapes and everything, or there is like a how can I say? So there is a like reason behind, like what you're doing, or you're just trying different things.
so yeah, you could. It's not complete. It's not random, but what you
Hmm.
can do is you can get the out of the right the linear regression for all 45 of the input variables, and try to get your most significant parameters out of them. Like I said, like height, income, and your
Okay,
social
so no,
activity.
you figured out this is the most
And
important
then
one. Okay,
yeah, and then
then
kind of
and then
use
what?
square of those terms as well, so that you just gauge whether you're getting a better accuracy using those terms.
Yeah. So it's always
Uh,
like trying, running again, and then testing the
yeah,
model again. It
it's a lot of
passes,
trial and error. It's a lot of
works.
trial and
Okay,
error.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But
they say it's more of an art than a science. So
okay, or
it's
maybe gut feel,
yeah,
gut feel
it's more of gut feeling and experience, and
experience. Yeah.
it's the trial and error. Yeah,
But do you think
experience.
AI will be better at it soon? So they will like what you will spend, I don't know, maybe multiple cycles doing, it will just guess and just apply and say your model is ready for you.
Yeah, I think AI will be good, but I wouldn't trust the AI because it depends on how the AI has been trained. Like suppose I have experience of like what is taught in my units and whatever I've taught on what I've seen on YouTube and maybe LinkedIn learning courses and like Udemy or something. But AI can be trained on more stuff. So AI has an advantage of that. But AI can go bonkers. AI can overfit your machine learning models, and you wouldn't really know whether it is
Wait, so
overfit.
you're saying,
Like
wait, you're saying as if it's already happening. So there's already AI, trains models. Is that already happening?
oh, I haven't checked that whether you can do machine
Because
learning
that's what I'm
through.
talking about.
Yeah.
So imagine, like you're saying, okay, so you identify parameters or whatever, and then you decide, okay, which one I want to do square, for instance. Yeah.
Yes. Or
Instead
which
of
one I
doing it
want to use.
yourself, you just give it to ChatGPT and you say, I'm training this model and blah blah blah, and here are my parameters, and these are the results. And it just says, oh, obviously you have to make this square and it will work. Like, did you try that? Like,
No,
is it
I haven't
capable of it?
tried that, but that's interesting.
Because that's what we do
Yeah,
in,
I think,
in engineering, in software development already. So I just ask it,
yeah,
write me the code, as if you like give me parameters or train me some model, and then I run that code. It throws exceptions, errors, and then I give it back to ChatGPT saying, "This code that you wrote, look, it produced these errors," and then it just understands. What's that? It's a nice effect. I didn't know it was there.
that.
Um,
Okay.
and then it rewrites the code for you, and then you progress to the next maybe error and the next, and then after a few iterations you have perfectly working code without thinking. You just you were just doing the monkey job. You're just copy pasting the code and error logs until it works, and it actually solves it. So I'm thinking maybe it's already the time when we can train models this way. You just, I'm not saying you put the entire model into the prompt, but you say, okay, here's my parameters, here is the results of my training. Yeah, see, here's this test data set. The results is this. What do you suggest? Maybe it will already suggest you, do this square and that, blah blah blah, whatever.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I think it can get right to a certain point, but you can't really, but you still need to like check it for yourself, right? You need to take the
No.
whatever
Why do you need to check it?
model
If
that AI gives.
all you need is just take this advice, train it, and see the results. And if the results are better, then you're moving towards the right direction. So exactly like when I train or when I ask it for the code, I just see, okay. And sometimes it does get like cycling, like it just starts, okay, it produces me like the previous version of the code, and then I say, no, it was faulty, and then it does the new one, and then I say it's also faulty, and then goes back to the previous one. There is sometimes it's like, and you have to kind of do the, I don't know, introduce some entropy or whatever, like you have to ask differently, on maybe like suggest some other way of rewriting the code first. But but in most cases you kind of see that you're progressing. So okay, it didn't solve your problem in this step, but you see that you progressed because you already see like maybe not the first line of code produces the exception, but the third line. So you already see that, okay, at least we passed through these first lines of code without a mistake, and then the error is somewhere. So you kind of see that you're progressing, and it kind of guy like tells you that you're on the right path. So I think if you are using the advice of ChatGPT or whatever another AI, and then you see that slow increment of like your parameter, like your outputs are getting better. Maybe maybe this will be faster than using your gut feel or your intuition. What do you think?
Yeah, what I think is that's a really interesting point that you bring in using AI with coding, right? So
Mhm.
uh, I have I have experience using AI with coding. I've used Google Colab with AI, and it does a great job for a lot
Yeah,
of things. But
yeah,
what I want to say about AI with coding is you got to be really careful how you write your code with AI. I mean, be it a machine learning model or you want to do some NLP tasks or you want to build a website or any of the other things. So you got to do it in small iterations. You can't rely on AI to like completely write the code for you. You got to do small iterations. It's really good at writing boilerplate code. AI is really good at writing boilerplate code. So what the AI also does is like it takes the most statistically significant code that it has been trained on and it gives you
yeah,
the output. So most of the people who would have like put their code on github
yeah.
projects or Stack Overflow and
All code was already written.
all
It's
these
just
old,
about reusing
yeah,
it. Yeah, there is
yeah,
no.
open source code bases, right? So even Kaggle notebooks. So you got a lot of code written by a lot of really intelligent people already, right? For so many
Not
years.
maybe not. I'm not
Yeah,
sure
maybe
about intelligent
other than
because the majority of the code is probably shitty code anyway. I don't know. I don't know which code it
I
was
don't know.
trained on. Probably
Yeah,
everything.
yeah. So yeah, it's really good at writing boilerplate code. But in this case, you gotta know what you're doing. I mean, you gotta
Yeah.
check at every step
Okay. It's
that
not
whether
that
you're
easy.
getting the right output that that you want.
Yeah.
And yeah, and you need some sort of experience as well to judge the code written by AI, and you need your business domain knowledge as well, whether it fits your outcome, whatever you're looking for. And in this particular case, like I think there's a high chance for overfitting, and so every machine learning model also has this concept called interpretability, which is like
Yeah.
you have your model and you're getting an outcome but you need to understand and explain it to like business people, like stakeholders, your investors, and
Yeah, of
whatnot.
course.
Like, how you exactly arrived at that decision or that outcome or that
And you,
prediction, whether it's
and
correct or not. You
and
got
it
to
would be
justify that.
the wisest thing to say. I asked ChatGPT.
That's not the that's
I
the
don't
inverse
know.
of the thing to
No,
say.
because right now, like, I don't know. Yeah,
Mhm.
because first thing, like a lot of people now, even in business domain now, did you ask ChatGPT? They always like they always surface it, and they are happy to ask themselves to validate you. They will ask ChatGPT what's the right thing to do. In software development, also a lot of times I would just like just ChatGPT it, like, or even like don't give me the code that you didn't either ChatGPT or you didn't at least validate with ChatGPT. Like
Yeah,
to
yeah,
proofread
you
and
can.
to restructure, refactor, and make it readable and clean. Like who needs a? It's like like it's almost like with self-driving cars in the future. Yeah, if you are driving manually, you are the hazard to the society. So don't drive. Like rely on rely on AI. You will, but there's just less
Yeah,
chance of you like killing someone, right? So same,
yeah, if
like
it gets so
I don't
good.
need your super awesome code that you think like you spend so much time on. Like I need efficiency. I need to get to that code faster, and I want it to be reusable, understandable, maintainable. So don't give me your code, ChatGPT. Okay,
Yeah,
okay. Yeah, data science sounds like data science still behind engineering. You guys will get there.
yeah, I feel
We,
like
we
other
aspire
than
against.
ChatGPT, yeah, other than ChatGPT, there are many other tools which are really good as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at the end of the
Okay.
day, you have to know which tool to use for what. Like, yeah, like for coding, I would still suggest like Python. You could just use Collab AI, which is better than ChatGPT.
What's Collab AI? The Collab AI. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Google Collab AI
Yeah,
features.
is
Yeah,
it better? I don't know. Yeah, I thought.
yeah, I
I
found
think.
it to be a little bit
I think
better.
still. I think. I don't know about the code, but I think OpenAI, like with all controversies and everything, they still the furthest. The most advanced model anyway, with the biggest context. But I'm not sure actually. I haven't.
Yeah,
I haven't
there's
used
a
Collab AI.
recent model. There's O1 Pro released, which is as good as PhD level chemistry and engineering and like mechanical engineering and things like that. But that's
Sorry,
like
which one?
200
Which one?
a month. It's called O1 Pro.
Yeah. So that's
O1,
the
O1
latest
Pro.
model.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
it's
okay.
two
So
hundred
tell
dollars
me,
per month.
as the person
Yeah.
who is kind of in that area, like, how does Google compare now? The Google latest model or Facebook latest model compared to OpenAI? They're still behind, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think OpenAI is better with
So
the
code
latest
wise,
model.
so it will be
Yeah,
definitely writing better code, because code is not just about okay the quality of the code. It's also like how it understands what you mean and how much code. Right now, if I do programming, I put in a lot of code. I say here 3 files, and in that fourth file, which depends on those three, somehow they're kind of interrelated, refactor it, or like introduce some method or whatever, or fix it. So it needs also a big context window. You need to understand what I mean, like in business terms, and it needs to understand if I'm not very specific, like I'll be frustrated with the results, not because of the quality of the code, but because misunderstood me. So I think
yeah,
comprehension is also like a big deal, right? And I think
yeah.
OpenAI is still the most advanced.
Yeah, and you got to be good yourself, right? Even to judge the code by AI software. I mean, if you're not experienced enough, how will you judge the code? Like,
Yeah,
how can
right
you
now
read the
we
code?
are just we became previously software engineers were coders, just like coding, like writing
Yeah,
code.
yeah, yeah.
Now we are prompters and I don't know analyzers, judges, as you
Exactly.
said. Yeah,
Yeah.
which is exciting. Which is kind
I
of
think we are like more of like like the person who collects like different things, like a scientist, like collects different code from different pieces
yeah
and putting it together and getting
collab.
the
Yeah,
best thing for your application. So it's like, yeah, it's a lot of like, the scientists, they used to like mix a lot of chemicals together, and then you find a
Integrators,
portion which
by
is like,
integrating. Yeah,
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 which is like
definitely.
works for like some
Oh, yeah,
industrial application.
that's the word. We're alchemists. We are alchemists.
Yeah, we
I
are
love it.
alchemists. Yeah, I think we are like software alchemists
Software
right now.
alchemists. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Okay.
yes,
Next, I will be advertising. I will see how many people will apply for the
software
software
alchemist.
alchemist role powered by AI. Okay, so where do you see yourself? Like, are you like a all or nothing? I'm either data scientist or I don't know, janitor. Or I'm doing part-time job until I find the data science job. Or you're happy to compromise, do software development, business analysis, I don't know, any other like IT jobs or whatever.
Yeah, so right now it's very interesting. So I'm doing my certification in Microsoft Power BI, which is
Yeah,
one of the best data visualization tool in the
yeah,
market. Like it has so much accessibility with other databases, with other Microsoft tools to like publish and integrate and host on different platforms. And I'm doing my Microsoft Azure certification
yeah,
itself because cloud computing is so important these days. Like even like model training and having different copies of your data set, different copies of your models and your runtimes, everything's being done on the cloud.
yeah.
Is cloud is being assisted uh, without us knowing it. Like
Oh,
many
it's
of the
omnipresent
like
now. Yeah,
yeah, like our
we live
interview
in
is
the
being
cloud.
recorded on the cloud. So yeah,
We live in the
everyone.
cloud without knowing it.
Yeah, we live in a cloud without knowing it. Yeah. So I didn't take the elective of cloud computing in my study. So I think I missed out a bit, but
Mhm.
I'm doing a lot. Uh, I'm doing like two certifications in cloud computing and one in Microsoft Power
Yeah,
BI. And I'm
that's
open for
interesting.
like scientist, data analyst, business analyst.
Yeah, so everything to do
Even
with data. Yeah, data and data
there's like
analysis.
yeah, there's like a new role. Not it's not so new, but it's called data engineering, which is also using cloud and using your data science
Yeah.
data pipelines, setting up the data pipelines and your machine learning pipelines and all of that, which is really interesting as well.
Hmm. Wow, I haven't heard of
Yeah.
that one. That's interesting. So
Data
it's like
engineering.
it's not programming, but it's like again maybe
There,
as you say
there
orchestration
is
of this data and making sure like it's stored properly and the
yeah,
models are trained. Maybe like release engineering, software development. There's
there is a bit of
adjacent roles like who are in charge of pipelines of software like and releases and stuff like that.
yeah. Yeah,
But
it's
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 in still the
there is a bit
core
of
is to
coding
do the
as
data.
well. There's a lot of automation and
Data
coding in that area.
warehousing. Is it data warehousing engineers? Maybe.
Yeah, it's the evolution of that.
Yeah.
It's data engineering. Yeah, data warehousing, data engineering. It's not just for data warehousing, but it can be for your OLTP processes as well, online transaction processes as well. So it's setting up the whole ecosystem and maintaining it.
Okay. So, why did you, in the first place, why did you get interested in data science or data?
So basic, yeah. I mean, like if you see the latest applications being developed in software engineering with the big software companies, not just the big ones, even from the mid-sized one, the emerging ones. So
Mhm.
it's all using like data-driven decision making, your machine learning models, your AI models, and automation, software automation. And I feel like data science is like the foundational course for all of that. Like I think so so you asked me how do you start off with data science? I think, and you told me like you get the data set and then you like clean it and then you like try to build a model on it and
No, no, no.
then try
That's
to
not what
automate it.
I don't mean like how you actually started, but like what inspired you? Why did you decide to start with data science? Because it's popular. Well, I guess it's it's a silly question because the most popular, most demanded job right now.
Yeah, yeah. It kind of built a curiosity in me, like, I mean, like, how are these applications being built? And if I want to build something like a next LLM, like, or an answer engine, where do I start off from? Or like a data visualization tool. Like, I've seen a lot of beautiful data visualization tools in online and like basically all over the internet. And I always like used to wonder like how is it being so good these days? So
Oh, that's interesting. So you
yeah.
actually there is something um you like you're mesmerized by the beauty of data. Because I think
Yeah,
you mentioned this
not
before as
just,
well. Even when you start talking about BI, like when you start talking about it, it feels like, oh, you just love, visualization, data visualization.
yeah, I do love data visualization, to be honest, because it's like data is like so multidimensional, and through visualization you kind of put it to 2D or 3D, and it just looks so colorful and so good for decision making. If you want to decide whether to like buy some stocks or Bitcoin, or like buy some investments, or like it can be anything. So
So
you
what's
need
your
a data analysis tool for it,
what's your
and even
ideal?
AI. I
So what
don't think
domain?
there's
What domain? Not the job, but the domain.
Mhm.
Let's say which company you would love to work for. So what the data would be.
So I have 8 years of work experience. I've been working in the banking and insurance domain.
Hmm.
So I would say like I have a lot of experience and knowledge in that already. So that's something interests me. But I would say like even retail,
Yeah.
uh, software data analysis of retail companies, and even like logistics, and even maybe even healthcare. These interest me as well.
Sure.
Yeah, I would say banking, insurance,
Hmm.
retail, and healthcare. Any of this business domain is
Well,
is
yeah.
interests
I
me.
think they all pretty much, yeah. So as
Yeah.
cloud is omnipresent in all of them, I think AI is getting 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 there as well. So I think there will be equal opportunities there. Anything else you would like to add?
You need to check out my website. You didn't ask me what I've built these days. So me and one of my friends, we participated in 2 hackathons, and we
Yeah.
built a website using NLP, natural language processing, and AI and data visualization. So what is it does is it's a news aggregation and sentiment analysis website.
Hmm.
So any topic you enter in our website, and it what it does is it fetches the latest 100 articles on it from the web, and it does a summarization of those 100 articles, and it creates a sentiment analysis like positive, negative,
Yeah.
uh, uh, you know, neutral, whether those articles were positive, negative, neutral. And it also creates like a word cloud, a positive word cloud related to your topic, and a
But
negative word cloud related to the
I,
topic.
I think I
Uh,
remember I saw in Google
mhm.
you can just use API for that. You can just send the text and ask, give me the sentiment, and we'll just give it back to you. Like, did you train your own model for that, or you relied on APIs?
We did rely on APIs and pre-trained models. We didn't
Yeah.
build our own model for it because building your own model, you need a lot of
So
dedication.
yeah. So it was more like
But we
engineering.
combined a lot of things and we put it together.
Hmm.
And yeah, we did use the Google API to get
Yeah.
all these news articles related to the topic. But after
Yeah.
that, we did a lot of research on how to like summarize it, the best ways to summarize it, and what kind of word clouds that we want to show, what kind of sentiments that we want to show. for those combined text from those hundreds of articles, not hundreds of articles, 100 articles. So what I was trying to get is like the nowadays you have like news from various different sources, which are kind of like sometimes they kind of contradict each other, and you don't know which what is true and what is false. And sometimes you just rely on one news source, and they might be like
Yeah.
biased to
Ah,
certain
reminds me
political.
on ground news. You know that ground news, which is
Yeah,
advertising
ground
news.
news, straight
Yeah,
arrow
similar.
news. Yeah, it is similar,
Mhm.
but yeah, ours is like is a bit different as well.
Much better.
So because not much better, I would say, because ground news tells you more about like left leaning, right leaning, and
Yeah, yeah,
centric
yeah.
and stuff
Somehow
like
that.
that. So ours
And
is kind of like tells us
is it
whether
fake?
it
What
is,
every
yeah, the
so
overall
many
like
voices
overall.
talk about this? Yeah. Which can
Yeah.
also be a little bit misleading, because like everyone was saying, oh, Hillary Clinton's gonna win, or Kamala Harris is gonna win, and they all wrong. So
Yeah, it
and
can
even
be.
if
Yeah,
you
I mean,
summarize the opinion, you may still not arrive at the like. You can maybe amplify it, but it may still be wrong. So there is a little bit.
yeah, but we at
But
least get to know what everyone is telling, right? I
okay,
mean,
okay,
yeah, it might not give you the
but
future,
if it
like
is,
what's going to happen, but it's going to give you a nice statistical summary of like hundreds of different
yeah,
news channels and news websites.
yes. Um, I think definitely the news industry is changing, and AI will have to get in there because with so much information and tweaking that's going on, and like I think AI will also help us understand. So maybe AI will generate a lot of stuff. Who knows? But then the
Yeah, I
only
think
way
they're
to
already using AI
decipher
to
it,
can.
you kind of have to be also equipped with AI. Yes. So I think AI will be kind of on both sides of the aisle. It will help us.
Yeah.
It will be against us. Like pretty much what's happening now with recruitment, right? Everyone just exaggerates or like use ChatGPT to generate beautiful resume, beautiful cover letter, and then
Yes.
HR people can't choose anymore. And then how do you fight it? Yeah, and well, I'm not using AI to fight it. I'm doing genuine one-on-one conversations now.
Yeah.
But
Thanks to you. I appreciate what you're
who
doing.
knows? Maybe soon it will be deep fakes like this. I don't know. Um, we'll see.
Yeah,
So
it's
well,
interesting and scary what the future, right? That's the general
come on. You're
sentiment.
not the one to be scared. You will define that future. So you should face it
Yeah,
with
exactly.
open arms and brave heart. So I
Yeah, I
wish you
have a
luck on
bunch
this
of
journey.
yeah, I have a bunch of ideas to accomplish in my future. Everything's related to like different data science
Oh,
and
really?
AI applications.
But what's
To
the most grand idea? Like what you just described, that's just a side project. What's the most grand idea? What's your goal to
oh
achieve?
yeah, my goal. Okay, so like my goal eventually, like maybe 5 years down the line or 10 years down the line, is
Yeah.
to create more of agentic AIs which can replicate different physical environments, like a factory or like driving or even like a whole planet. Uh, Create the virtual environment for an entire ecosystem, and then you can like do your application or like run experiments, uh, or even monitor it. So it's called like digital twin technology. Like suppose you have a factory, like
Yeah.
a audio manufacturing unit
So
in
it's just
Germany.
like exact replica.
Yeah,
You
the
can
exact
you can
virtual
like
replica.
virtually walk around, and it's just like it just
Yeah.
replicates exactly your physical environment. Yeah, and then you
Yes,
can run
exactly.
experiments there.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's not just visual replica. It has to like replicate the physical and the mechanical laws of that environment as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's like AutoCAD,
Like
AutoCAD, like with all the physical parameters of everything. Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Ah, wow.
So I wanted
Why would you think of that? Like, what inspired you with that idea?
what inspired me with that idea was you have a lot of it's called simulative AI
Hmm.
as well, and It's also related to agentic AI.
Yeah.
Uh,
Say it again? I don't get that word. Agentic.
Agentic AI. Yeah.
How do you spell it?
It's like AGENT, agent. I see, agentic.
Agentic AI. I've never heard this.
Yeah.
What does it mean?
So multi-agent AI or agentic AI uh, is an AI system where you can describe it a task and it goes ahead and does it for you. So something
Ah,
like, yeah, you
okay.
want to buy a new TV.
Yeah,
So you want to browse the top 10 uh, TV websites on
yeah.
in
And
Australia,
then
like
you choose
JDS,
the right
Arino.
one, and then you want to actually
Yeah,
proceed and buy it. Yeah, so it's like
yeah,
different agents doing it. Okay.
yeah. And then it goes ahead and buys it for you as well.
Yeah,
Like it
understand.
has your credit card information and your
And you think that,
OTPs.
and you think
Yeah.
that coupled with the virtual model of whatever you have will actually lead to autonomy.
Yeah, it will lead to more autonomy, but it will also lead to accelerating the scientific experiments. That's what I feel. Because if you want to create scientific experiments in the real world, it's going to cost you so much more. And there
Yeah.
will be like human
So you can
lives at
actually
risk.
create like let's say you can create a new drug just in the virtual
Yeah,
world because you
yeah,
have all the compounds that are kind of have all the physical characteristics and the molecules and they like real but virtual and then
yeah.
combinations will also be real.
Right. Like a new drug or a new material or simulate some new kind of
Okay, okay,
epidemic and try to like
okay.
control
This is
it, see how you can
grand,
control it,
grand.
and things
This
like
is
that.
grand, grand goal enough. Acceptable.
Yeah, so yeah, I don't want to be the person who, you know, takes the
Just train
grand
model.
this
Yeah, for
thing.
money.
I just want to help them create this kind of AI, I would say,
Ah, no, but you still want to
virtual.
be part of something grand, right? You don't want to just
Yeah,
like
yeah,
go
yeah,
to I don't know dusty office and train models for companies to make more money. Okay, you wanna move the world forward in a way. Yeah,
yeah, I do. Yeah,
it's cool.
I think
I
it'll
hope
be
you will not
interesting.
lose it when you start working here in Australia. Have you worked in Australia before?
No, I haven't worked in Australia before, but I've worked for UK based companies and US based companies. So I worked for American Express was my client for which I worked. I worked for Legal and
You're
General.
transitioning, yeah. So you didn't do data science before. You're transitioning
I
into it.
haven't done data science masters before, but I've used Python. I've used visualization dashboarding tools, not the really fancy ones. I've used like
Yeah.
ServiceNow visualizations,
But
and
what did you do before, like in those companies?
I was I worked in mainframe applications. I was a debugger. I was writing like SQL queries. Uh, I,
Ah, so
like
you were
I was
still
in
doing data. I
I
thought you
was
were
in
in a finance. I thought you were in a finance kind of job.
no, I was more in the operations team, but it was related to banking and
Yeah.
finance. That was the domain. So I have a lot of knowledge about like what are the different types of data stored in banking applications and insurance applications, and
So you
how
were
do
all
they.
around data anyway. So you're working
I
with
was
data.
all around data, like day in and day out. Like SQL was like my bread and butter. I used to use
Yeah. Okay.
SQL every day. We used to run daily OLTP changes, like certain changes for job failures, and we also used to run like huge queries for massive
Yeah.
database updates. Work with
Uh,
like business analysts and even lead technical architects for different running different database corrections. You would say.
okay. Cool. Awesome. Well, ladies and gentlemen, data engineer, data analyst, and data scientist, Jivan. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank you, Sergey. It was nice
Finding
talking to you.
the best job.
It was a pleasure.
Talk soon. See ya.